Spread the love. All right. Well, we could kick it off while we wait for Jared. Uh, because of the big Web3 conference in Hong Kong right now, some of our other team should be joining late or joining and popping in or joining and muting. They're actually speaking. And then, oh, there he is, Memes Lab. If Luke, you could let him in. Um, and let's see, Igor from AI16Z, ElizaOS just pinged me. He's there as well and speaking. And he just, yeah, they changed his schedule. So he's not able to join, but we got a great group of guests and a bunch of our team here still. And we will still rock out like usual. So let's kick it off and do some intros. Um, we got Luke, who is the master of all hats at MemeMarket. He's running the MemeMarket Twitter, hosting. Um, he never usually speaks, but if he's able to speak, he could say hey, but he'll just run the show.
Hello all.
There you go.
It's me,
That's
Igor.
your first official appearance. We got Gerard, our head of community at MemeMarket.
Hey everyone, I'm Gerard. We're building a platform where you don't just watch meme coins, you profit from them. Bull or bear doesn't matter. We turn chaos into opportunity. So happy to be here.
Send it. And next we got up Ali, contributor at Mew. We love Mew. Been friends with you guys for a long time.
Hey guys, I'm Alley Cat. I'm the head Telegram mod over at Mew, and just want to say thanks for having me with such an awesome lineup of guests.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. I'm tight with Christina, some of your other team. Uh, so they wanted to, they felt more comfortable with the English speaker, I guess. You sound like you're American, unfortunately, like me as well. Um, though I don't want to hate on my country.
I
They
hear
are
you.
fucking bullish right now on crypto. So rah rah there, right? They are making moves. And right now, I don't want to say last but not least because Jason from our team should be joining sometime. We got Gerard from Memes Lab or Jared. Sorry, I keep butchering your name. Please just
Nah,
you could
it's
be an
all
ass
good,
and
my
correct
bro.
me, man.
Your community manager has a similar name, so you're gonna have to like call him like Jared one and me Jared two or something like that. You gotta work
Ah,
something out for this
I
space.
know. Okay, so it is actually Jared, kind of like the normal spelling way, right? With because usually a lot of times it's with an A. So this was the
Yeah,
first time with the fancy
the way you
pants, the
pronounce
bigger.
it, very
Yep.
fancy pants, British style.
Yes.
Gerard,
Gerard. It's
like
very similar to
like a ball
Gerard.
in your mouth, Gerard. Nah, I'm Jared.
Aha, he said
Simple.
it, not me.
That was my
Awesome.
just my best guess. Sorry guys. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I can already tell this is going to be a fun event. We've already started out with a bang or a ball, I should say. And cool, let's kick it off, right? No holds bars. So the way we usually run our spaces is we like to have fun, but we like to be informative, drop alpha, and share a lot of experience, and given the market conditions, a lot of hope because, and despite everything, it's extremely fucking bullish what's going on underneath as far as crypto. So, we'll have a few questions, but key questions, but we just let it flow. All right, Jason's here. He will mute or unmute when he can. He's over in Hong Kong right now on the conference grind and speaking grind. Um, cool. So yeah, as I was saying, we like to keep it, we like to flow. I mean, most of us in crypto, we are, you know, of us who are still here, we ain't grifters, so it's not all about the gains, though we love gains. There's nothing wrong with making tons of money. But we are really passionate about decentralized technology, right? At its core, that's what crypto is: peer to peer, no intermediaries, or just blockchain, right? So, yeah, let's start off with some of our questions. This is a free for all. There's no need to ask to speak. Obviously, have social intelligence. Don't be rude or cut people off. But it's the free form. Just chime in whenever, drop comments. We have fun. It's all good. Just let's just go and have some fun. Drop some alpha. All right. So tonight's topic, right, is going to be what memes have always been driven by the internet, right? Virality, culture, community, belonging, right, and some entertainment, right? Obviously, right. And we've seen a lot of really cool things coming out of the meme coin landscape, right? And not just huge gains and not just huge rugs, but we see this whole sector and aspect. And man, I mean, just very much like a music scene, right? Where you see all these different genres of music starting in subgenres. When markets boom and you see different businesses and smaller businesses and incumbents and things grow. And it just, you could see this kind of like an evolution, right? So, we want to kind of dive into this aspect tonight because I think it's quite an interesting ones because there's all different types of meme coins, right? So if I could drop the normal title, right, that we so wanted to use because you have to be formal and be easy to read on promo. It's how culture, comedy, and AI are reshaping the crypto landscape. So now that I said all that information, which took me way too long, don't worry, I'm opening up the floor, and I usually hide behind the scenes and make random Tourette syndrome comments every now and then. So expect me to blurt some shit out. What will the next era of meme coins look like, right? With what we have learned so far, and if you could touch on, the different aspects from culture, comedy, and AI, that would be great. And I'm gonna open it up. Someone dive in and let's go.
I'd love to take that alley cat from Mew here, if that's all right with everyone.
Rock and roll, man. Yep, no permissions needed.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Obviously, this is all speculative. It's just going to be my opinion. Not coming from the
Not
Mew
financial advice
team.
at all.
Yeah, yeah. Not coming from the Mew team writ large either, but just my opinion as someone who's actually been in crypto since 2013. So, I think that every time we go through a new era of meme coins, we really see. Um, we see a higher ceiling. We also see a pretty low floor sometimes too with effort. I think that's always going to be there, but I think that the ceiling consistently gets raised in terms of quality of projects, and I think also in terms of the realization throughout the space that a higher quality project is needed to have staying power. And so, back in the day, certain aspects may have cut it if it was just a funny meme or if it was just an active dev. But as we continue to move through the space, and certainly the empirical evidence I've seen over the years, being through quite a few cycles at this point, I don't know how many it is since 2013, but it's quite a few. You start to see these different aspects of projects pop up each time that are the blue chips in regards to whether it's I think someone's mic is on, by the way, with some background noise there. But you start
That
to
is
see.
probably me. I'm being
Oh,
the douche
okay.
over here.
All good.
Sorry,
No, didn't
man.
mean to hit you with an expose there, but so yeah, I,
Straight
I
called
was
me
just
out,
saying.
man.
Yeah. So I think that what you end up seeing is you know further aspects in terms of innovation and quality that project teams start to realize are necessary for staying power, because I think that every time you go through a cycle, there are veterans of the last cycle, and they'll see and kind of say, "Oh, been there, done that," with a project. It's not enough to just be funny. It's not enough to just have an active Telegram. And so, something over at Mew, if I may, extol our virtues a little bit, is, kind of this full assault in regards to every possible facet of the project that can be, um, a level of quality. You want to attack that as much as possible. And whether that's, the animation that we're putting out, whether that's, coming up with funny kind of comic strip type comics that we put on our social media, on our Instagram, whether that's games or a new website or the Telegram we have. I'm not going to spend too much time on Mew specifically, but all of these different aspects, including all the way up to IP ownership, which has certainly started to become more important these days. All of these things, you see this kind of leveling up every time we go through a meme coin cycle or just a crypto cycle in general. And so I think you'll start to see teams kind of take stock of what other projects have been doing and start to ask themselves, like, how can we one up that? How can we own our IP? How can we put out really high level media? How can we create the most constructive Telegram possible and be in touch with our community? And so that's one thing I think is really cool and something that I expect to see going forward. Yes, we will always have those little micro cap shitters and rugs and stuff like that, and hopefully we'll be able to mitigate all of that going forward. But I think what you need to focus on is that ceiling that consistently gets raised.
Oh, there's a
Yeah, I want to
lull.
double.
There we go.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I should just jump in or like be the good
No
kid
holds.
in the
You missed my
class.
intro. Yeah, so this is no holds
No.
bars. You jump in anytime you want. We have fun and just free flow. Don't ask permission. All good, man.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Just don't be a just don't be
Asshole.
an a hole. Yeah, yeah, cool. I wish I was on my personal, then I could speak with more freedom. But I just want to double click. I want to double click on what Ali Cat said. I think he made some very good points. Right, there are some things that are fundamental to how like a meme coin should run. These are some basic things that they need to have. Like they need to have some form of communication for the community uh, to uh, to get together and then to mobilize. I remember, back in the day, last cycle, the OGs they all used Discord, but after a while, Discord just gets really noisy, and I myself, I rarely turn on Discord anymore. Um, and it's moved on to Telegram, and I kind of enjoy having Telegram because it's simpler, and you can really easily mute those notifications. That wasn't very easy to do on Discord. You need some basic way of communicating for the community. You need to have people on X rating. You need to have an active community that are constantly chatting in the Telegram. You need to have art. You need to have constant raids. Those are some basic meme fundamentals that we need to see in any kind of meme project. Otherwise, it's just really, really bearish. And then, what comes after that is who can one up each other, like what Ali Cat says. And that comes to the talent of the respective teams as well as their community. What I've been seeing a lot lately is a lot of innovation in terms of the launch pad itself. I'm very glad to see launchpads innovating. Instead of doing the basic pump fund style launch and that's it, you have uh, launch pads that are thinking of doing something more. Like I think there are some that are trying to collect some of those fees and some of those yields and giving that to the team so that the team can continue to push this project. Because we all know that if you want to make it, you got to snipe your own supply, you got to bundle that, and that's not something that people like to see because that looks horrible in bubble maps and it looks very much like a scam. But then if you don't do it, you don't have anything to run your project on. So there's a lot of innovation happening on the launchpad space. Like for Memes Lab, we we innovate in terms of social fi. So we're combining memes and social fi. So for people to join a chat group, which is we are based on Telegram. So for people to join the chat group, they have to buy the token. If they sell the token, then they are booted out automatically. When they want to come back in, they gotta buy in some more. So that is a level of innovation that we are bringing to this space, and
That's
I
pretty
think
hot,
it'll
by
be
the way.
very
That's
interesting
hot.
to see how this
Yeah.
happens.
Did you guys just recently launch this, or has this always been in the works? I've known you guys for a long time. This
Right
is
now,
pretty dope. This
we
kind of
are
gated
in
community. It's like a signal, right? A signals group kind of a thing.
something like a friend tech
Yeah.
used to be, where
You mean
you need
before
to
it
buy
died,
keys, right?
and then they gave up after raking in millions for some funny. Anyways, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, those guys gave up too early, I think, as well. They could have built something really good, really special. It could have been the
They were like a.
OF of Web
They're
3.
not a pure grifter because they were around for a little while and then it just popped randomly, kind of. But the fact that yes, that they gave up, that was a pure grifter move. You know what I mean? Complete.
Yeah, and they gave up with a huge treasury. So I think some of the early investors probably got a
Bro.
lovely exit. But I think another one that failed recently was Favor, which was really hot last year. And they gave up because they ran out of funds, which is a bit too bad. It was a pretty good app, to be honest.
No, sorry.
Yep, I've done my spiel. Uh, let's hear what the others have to say.
Yeah, I'll just chime in real quick. I guess all previous speakers were very correct that like to be honest, like no one really knows how this meme coin wave gonna play out, and when the market is bullish, people jump on any narrative. But now, like we're in much tougher environment, liquidity is tight, and users are cautious, and attention is massively fragmented, like across thousands of coins, and even big names aren't moving the needle. Yesterday, I think no, maybe it was like a couple of days before. Conor McGregor, he just launched his own meme coin, which was called Real, with a 3.6 million target, and he ended up raising just something over 200K. We're talking about like one of the most famous athletes in the world.
Ouch. I didn't even know he did
Yeah.
that. I was just
Oh,
crying
really?
all weekend working. Yeah, head down. That's really sad. That's all he
I got
raised.
to say, the problem with all of these
Jesus.
people raising these types of money like this is they're not Donald Trump. If you want to have a successful meme coin, you just need to be Donald Trump. That's the only thing. All other meme
Only
coins, they're
thing.
fake. They're fake, low energy meme coins. Conor McGregor, famously low energy, very low. He should be Donald Trump. If he was more like me, then maybe he would have succeeded more. That's all I have to say about this.
I'm
There we
pretty
go.
happy. I'm
Jason, our
pretty
team
happy that
dropping bombs.
McGregor, uh, who I really looked up to in the past, failed in his grift because all these influencer tokens have always been huge L's, especially for those of us who are in crypto. They just extract all of our liquidity. Why not put it into some actual Web3 memes and support a Web3 community?
I refer to it as my liquidity, just so we're clear.
Yes, that is incredible. And by the way, not financial advice from Trump over there either. He does not represent any of our projects here. You, that motherfucker, man. You know, I refer to him as a gangster on that subject of him. I mean, that dude. I mean, I can't be mad, right? I mean, he just walks in, launches his own fucking meme coin, right? Before there's any regulation defined, 2 days or whatever before office. I mean, they've raised, his Liberty platform. What is it, 550 million? What's he want to say
Weren't
now?
you and I
He's
like
probably pissed.
hanging out at that
Oh,
moment?
yes, we were. Yes, we were.
That was tragic. That was
Tragic.
ridiculous. Just to watch the entire fucking market just get absolutely vacuumed.
Yeah, nuts. Yeah, yeah, and me and Gerard the same day were on with another collaborator of us who works with us on our tokenomics. He'll join one of these events soon. Yeah, we it was like, I don't know, what was it, Gerard? Like a 800 million market cap, or it was something. Wasn't it? It was still a great time to get in, but
Mm,
we were like, is this a
Uh,
scam? Is this fucking real? Like, I never would have expected this, but it happened.
I think there was something closer to 10 billion market cap, which
Oh,
was still quite a decent time to get in. But I
like a
think,
five, six X, right? At the
yeah,
peak or something,
exactly.
or eight. Yeah.
Yep. And I remember the guy you mentioned, he actually was going to short as soon as
Yeah.
it's gonna hit Binance. And yeah, unfortunately, that was not the case where you can just quickly grab some money and cash out and forget about it. So I think he managed to be break even, but not definitely not gaining any money because that was a huge bump right after our conversation. So hopefully no one
Insane.
suffered. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gangster, man. I mean, again, look, to me, and people might not agree or like this comment, like, I don't really give a shit what that guy does to a certain degree. And obviously, there's self-serving interests here. And look at what they've done with Liberty, 550 million raised. Look at his Trump coin, all the other things he's got going on. He just did a partnership with crypto.com with his marketing company, right? Like a week ago, he invited the CEO, which was bullish as fuck that a president invited the CEO of an exchange into the Oval Office and to dinner. As long as he keeps making moves like that for the industry. And again, yeah, we could look at Trump coin and be like, that wrecked our industry, is horrible. Then it led to Libra. Okay, obviously all those things. But let's look at everything else. I don't really give a shit if that if he's stacking his own bags right now for self interest, as long as he keeps making moves for crypto, which he has been. Like I said, like him or not. Well, on the
I
subject of,
actually really love
yep.
Trump coin. Like, I don't think I've seen any token do what Trump coin did. It went straight up for like 24 hours. It only started to capitulate after Melania launched. That's when everybody was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that
And
shit screwed
people
up
started to
everything.
sell Trump to buy Melania, and they got
Yeah.
rugged by
Yeah,
that
well, then
Power
all
Rangers
these
looking
exchanges,
person.
all the exchanges started fucking locking Soul. You know what I mean? The purchase, I was one of them. I got locked. I tried
Oh,
to ape
yeah.
in on that, which I'm really glad I got locked because it wouldn't have worked out well, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, crazy times we live in. I mean, the reason why I think it went up so high is obviously what a fucking president, dude. You know what I mean? Of the United States launching a meme coin. I mean, like, what universe dimension are we in right now, right? Uh yeah, man. So here's a cool one, right? Everyone loves AI. It's changing the world. Um, the value it brings is just crazy, man. What you can do, even at a basic level. Um, so it'd be good to kind of like pivot the combo a little bit into this. It is like not really about AI meme coins, right? But let's talk about the actual technology and the use cases, right? And this is obviously bullish for us, and that's what we kind of focus on. There's other projects here, but like, how is AI changing, right? How users can engage with meme coins, right? Maybe from the point of like virtuals, creation, content, etc., to trading to whatever else. I think that'd be pretty interesting. If it wants to speak, by the
Yep.
way, either.
Yep. I have something to share. Um, so I did try like to uh to make it like a bot that generates content for, let's say, a meme. And I think at the moment, language models are really great. They can write really good text. But in terms of art, like generating images and generating, with the new chat GPT, maybe it's better. Like I tried to do something with it last year, and I don't think the technology was ready. But I think at the moment we have the craze with the Studio Ghibli art, and I think ChatGPT's what's the current model? Is it like a 4.0 or something like that? um, has been able to generate images really, really well compared to past generations. So I think in the past, I tried to get a bot to generate images. Like, okay, so we give them an image, like let's say Alley Cat, and then tell them to, okay, make the Alley Cat character drink tea with a GM at the back. So the bots usually are not able to produce something really good. But I think I haven't tried with the new GPT. I think right now it might be better. That was something that meme teams, tried to crack last year itself. Never really looked that good. But I think nowadays it should be much better. I don't know if anybody has experience doing that.
Yeah, so I know at over here at Mew, obviously we were poking around with that new Chat GPT, but one of the things that is really important to us is our intellectual property and making sure that the content that comes from the official Twitter account or that is on the website, or is going to be in we have an animation series coming up that's made by Locust Animation Studios in South Korea. All of those kind of media ventures, we always want to make sure that our character looks just right, that all of our characters look just right, because we have a whole plot line with Mew and a big Shiba named Shiba Tony, and he has got a little friend named Rat. And so, as I'm sure you guys can imagine, you want to make sure that when you're putting out anything that represents your project, it's as good as possible and that it's all consistent. But at the same time, we love seeing our community members use AI and use the different tools that are available to them, whether it's taking some of the illustrations we have and putting a filter over it, or just trying to make characters that look like Mew. That's something that we're really, really welcoming, because we love the idea that people who wouldn't otherwise be able to participate in the creative part of illustrating. I mean, listen, I'll speak for myself. I cannot draw. I used to draw a lot in class when I was bored, and I came to the conclusion that I was very bad at it. So I have to say, it is a lot of fun to see what our community members will come up with using AI. I'll use a little AI, but I also know that, it needs to be that happy marriage of making sure that, when you see a project using exclusively AI, and maybe this won't be the case going forward, but you start to see those cracks kind of form and you go, oh, yeah, maybe we don't have a real artist doing this, or maybe why does he look so weird there, why are there seven fingers, etc. And so I think tech is a really these technical innovations, particularly in AI, are really, really important for people to participate that otherwise wouldn't be able to. But I also think that it's really important to keep a level of quality. And also, I think that that's indicative, it's kind of like a microcosm of your project. Are you willing to have, a skilled artist do a draft and do a rework of something to make sure it looks just right. Um, and so, we're very welcoming of AI and all of these innovations and always trying to see if there's anything new or cool coming out that, you know, Mew as a project can participate in. But at the same time, always want to make sure that, the product you put out is as good as possible.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. And you mentioned some community activities across your community, and obviously, in this market, we're seeing fewer meme coins launching, but way more memes, especially the ironic ones, like self-deprecating kind. Uh, do you think that kind of humor is just a way for the community to cope with losses, uh, or is becoming the main cultural engine in a bear market?
In my opinion, I think that there's always going to be, um, memes that are the memes du jour, so to speak, or memes of the day or memes of the week. And I think that, sentiment is always going to drive those. However, you know, that's going to be good when it's good and that's going to be bad when it's bad. I think what you really need to start to look at there, and we can even talk a little bit more about celebrity tokens because I think this falls into it. But what you need to start to really identify, at least as a potential investor or someone who even wants to get involved in a project, because that's how I got involved in Mew. I've been around, like I said, since 2013, but Mew has not been around since 2013. So I'm always looking for projects that have staying power, that has, a few boxes on my checklist of like, hey, this seems a little bit more interesting. This seems unique. And, whether we're talking about the Please token or, whether it's Tremp or uh, Bodden, any of those. Not that I am throwing any shade on those projects or anything like that, but obviously, I think when you attach a project to something that might be a little bit more fleeting, like let's say, a viral personality online where you're like, hey, maybe this is just 15 minutes, or maybe this is the next, the Rizzler or whatever, who bizarrely seems to have a lot of staying power. But my point really being is that, memes come and go. What you really want to identify are projects that are based on memes that, or at least intellectual property, like in Mew's case, that, have a little bit more staying power. And so, yeah, sure, if things are really, really bad right now and there's a meme coin called tariffs or something, which I have no idea. I'm sure there's like six of them at this point already. You just need to have that thought process of like, okay, well, what's this going to look like in 3 weeks? What's this going to look like in 4 weeks? And if you're one of those traders or investors or crypto community members that is in it for a quick flip or is in it, just to grab your popcorn and see what happens, then obviously your checklist and your criteria is going to be very different from someone like myself who, I love to identify a project that I believe has staying power that I can invest in, emotionally as well as financially, and that I feel like I can contribute to, and that it's not just going to pack up shop and, suddenly the telegram's going to say seen last time a very long time ago, if you catch my drift. So
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's a very interesting point. Uh, Gerard, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I was just when you mentioned it, I was just looking back at some of the fleeting meme tokens. The Hawk Tour girl. I was just looking at
yeah, that one
the
came to
title of
mind
it.
for sure.
My goodness, that one was a huge grift. Uh, yeah, but I liked her, so I bought some of that, and oh man, it just went down after that. I got hawked on. Uh, there's Peanut. You guys remember Peanut? And then Peanut had like a huge fight between the owner of Peanut, and
Yeah,
then
big time.
the community token Peanut, where I think they tried to give him some tokens, and then he instead pushed his own. So a lot of drama there. There's always something fun happening on crypto, and uh, there's never a dull moment, especially with meme coins. And somehow it brings more attention, and more attention tends to pump the price for some reason, even though it's like a huge fud.
We love lulls. So here's an interesting one. It's actually one of our questions, but I would love to kind of hear everyone's thoughts on this. Um, are culture and comedy, key drivers to crypto mass adoption? And I just want to share a couple. I don't know if it's footnotes you would say. I'm not that formally educated in certain areas when it comes to language. Um, but anyways, point being is, there's studies that, it's like almost 70% of Gen Z, um, you know, own crypto, with 40% of them getting into crypto for meme coins, right? And then another percentage, I forget the numbers from this data set, that, entertainment, funny things, culture, all this stuff helps them understand and be more open to complex, ideas and technology and stuff. Um, and I think we've seen, if you look at some of the biggest app killers through, the evolution of the internet and into, Web3 now, it's all been, obviously money's a big one, finance apps, but social and gaming, right, are the biggest app killers. By far, user over user, right? Gaming and social, if not gaming, it's the biggest in history in the world. Well, outside of porn, but that never gets brought up for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I just would love to hear people's comments on that, because I think it's really interesting, culture, comedy, and all this stuff, and how it merges with the financial aspect of meme coins and everything else.
Yeah, I'll just jump in and take that one. I really wanted to answer this one specifically because um, I definitely think humor is an enormous part of what drives, a potential successful project, as well as, really marketing in general. Even if you look at some of the more uh, quote unquote serious projects that claim to have, X, Y, and Z utility, when it comes to their marketing, you want to have something funny because you want people to, you want to set yourself aside, you want to stand out. And I think people love fun, right? And funny is fun. Whether that's something being a cultural reference or just a funny looking meme. Like, fun is a really big part of what we look for in life as humans, I think. And so that's part of why, when you identify a meme coin community that you're having a good time in, it's like, hey, maybe I'll invest a little bit into this. But what I think is really interesting, particularly about Mew in this context, is that the terminology of meme coin gets a little bit confusing. Almost like grill and barbecue get a little confusing. But it's like, people would throw the word meme coin around, and I think there were kind of two camps. There were one camp that felt like a meme coin is just a token that is generated that doesn't really claim to have utility beyond the fact that, hey, it's a meme, it's this photo, or it's this character, or whatever. But then there's another camp of people that feel like a meme coin needs to specifically be based on a specific existing meme. And so that was something that Mew kind of dealt with in the early days, where people were saying, you know, this isn't particularly funny. This isn't like an actual meme. This isn't, like this is just an intellectual property. And, what we used to say to that is, and still do, is, what's funny or what's a meme about, Shiba? Or a lot of these other tokens that claim to be quote unquote meme coins. And so I think that, one thing we've done at Mew is really we've created memes featuring our character. We've also created, a lot of really funny content because of like what I said. It's great to have fun. It's great to be funny. But I also don't necessarily think that a meme token needs to specifically be based on a meme. So I think as long as, a token, whether it's, Toshi or When, there's a lot of other cat tokens out there too that weren't, you know, uh, previously memes or necessarily based on hilarity of some sort of, brain rot, weird looking Gen Z thing. Really what's important is to be culturally relevant, which is something we take really seriously in regards to our anime referential art, because everyone knows anime is definitely mainstream these days. And just to be able to resonate with people, I think is what's important, not specifically be an existing meme. And I actually think that it's almost beneficial, particularly if you don't own the IP. It's beneficial to create your own character and have something original for the market, as long as you're able to maintain that fun and funny cultural resonance.
On this topic, talking about kind of there is I would say some originality, definitely borrowed right from culture and viral meme stuff and many layers and layers. But I don't know how I found it on Instagram the other day, but I'm sure you guys have heard the fat N-word coin, right? Has anyone heard of that one? It popped for a while.
Oh, there's so many
Well,
of them. Is it any like particular one?
oh, I didn't know. There's way too many. I don't know, but you got to check. This one's probably one of the most legit, at least because they've gotten huge rap celebrities to talk about it, including Snoop, other big ones on podcasts. Snoop follows the Instagram account. It is fucking lit. By the way, I was gonna just send it to our team just as a reference because their AI generated videos are pretty incredible. They're really well done and extremely like on brand. Like it's one thing to create an AI generated video or image, but to be able to take that exact character of yours and brand or whatever, and then put it in like unlimited different environments, right? In situations where they're riding a jet ski, skydiving at a club, whatever, and still have it match is definitely there's a lot of talent there. You don't see it all the time. There are, but anyways, point being, but you guys should check that shit out. It is lit. In yeah, it's just the fat N-word coin and the brand and spokesperson character, whatever, is a bigger size African American looking rapper kind of guy. Not so much rapper, but in that culture. What do you make of all that? And I mean, some people outside of our industry probably see that and they're like, "What the hell is this?" You know what I mean? They don't even know what to make of it. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of these meme coin meme coins on social media, I feel that they target those of us who already have Web3 exposure because we will know what to do with it. Whereas for the mainstream audience, they might not be that compelled to, okay, so this is a token on crypto, but they may not be compelled to buy it unless it's something like Trump, right? Well, that Trump token was a huge onboarding event. People were struggling to get on it. All these apps where people were trying to buy coins on Solana. All those apps failed. Uh, it's a huge test of our industry, and I think we're probably not ready for mainstream adoption. Like I love Solana. I think it's an awesome chain with an awesome tech that has huge potential, but I don't think that we're ready for uh, to onboard the masses just yet. Um, but then again, it just shows that there's a lot of room for growth and a lot of room for building. And I'm sure the devs are working on it. Devs doing something. And for me, like, who remembers Chill Guy, right? I don't think Instagram is the meta anymore. It's probably a little bit aged. I think a lot of the content creators have moved on to TikTok, where the short form video content, the live stream video content thingy has really taken off. I know a few content creators who have moved on to create content on X, as well as to live stream and create short videos on TikTok, and a lot of them have been finding success in guiding new people to buying their first crypto token and signing up for an exchange and all that stuff. So I think there's something to be said about social media as an onboarding machine, but I'm not sure if meme coins being funny and all would be a huge enough reason for people to want to, if they've never experienced buying crypto before. Would it compel them to actually create a wallet, sign up for an exchange, get funds bridged over to that chain, that particular chain, and go through all that hassle? What do you guys think?
Yeah, exactly. That's probably one of the biggest, pain points and friction when people just don't know how to get into the market. And at MemeMarket, we're actually building a platform where users can actually, earn from meme coins in any market phase, and not just by buying early, but through tools like prediction markets and shorting mechanisms, and like betting on volatility. Just imagine being able to short mid cap meme coins during a downtrend like we're seeing now. You could build a fortune by, just by simply understanding market sentiment. Yeah, with that said, the question to our guest or the panel, where do you see the future of meme coins going? Because some of you already said that it may be, based around the celebrities, or is it heading towards more, structured meme ecosystems, or it will stay chaotic and short term driven like we have it now?
Personally, I think it will. Right now, the entire market is really bearish and in a lot of fear. So I think there will be a little bit more of pain in the short term. But I do feel that the good times will come back. We still have the easing that is yet to happen. I know today the Fed is going to meet up, and my fingers crossed that Jerome Powell will turn on the burr machine, and we'll all be happy and sitting, and the Bitcoin will go back up to 100K. It will shoot up to 200K, 300K, 400K. It'll go up to $500,000, and all our meme coins will go to $1 billion valuations, and we'll all be retiring, sitting in a nice little yacht in the Bahamas, and on spaces like these, telling everybody, "Hey, we told you so. We told you so." At when Bitcoin was under $80,000, we told you so. Anyway, we're enjoying the benefits. But everybody, this is not financial advice. I think that with memes and crypto, we have a long way to go in reducing the barrier, the friction between a retail person coming in and getting their first token. I think there's still a significant barrier there. But I think that we are taking a lot of strides to improving that. I think meme market is one such innovation. Memes Lab is another. We're doing it through Telegram. We are a Telegram app, and so it reduces the friction a little bit because people can use their fiat through Telegram to get onto crypto. Um, we shall see. Once we make things as easy as clicking a few buttons, we will see huge mainstream adoption, and maybe on that day, those Instagram fat. I shouldn't say that word. Big sized people tokens. We'll start to see a huge bump.
Did he just say big size tokens? Those would call those
Go
would go
big
in
or
the
go
tall and
home,
fat
bro.
section. Yes, and by the way, because I am a little bit pleasantly plump, I am allowed to say things like that. So no disrespect to overweight people. You're allowed to do that if you're overweight yourself. On that subject, I have, for all your guys' entertainment, just posted the big size meme coin, dude, in this Spaces comments there, so you guys can see it. It's pretty lit, man. The Instagram page. And you'll see Snoop Dogg follows them, etc. They got, yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Yeah, it's virality, money, excitement. Just if you look at, I mean, it really, I think it really also just ties into like the internet, the way technology has changed consumption of information. Right, it's really mind-boggling. I'm going to age myself, but I grew up when you had bicycles as kids. You know what I mean? You ever seen those photographs of like what it used to be like for kids in the 90s or the 80s, right? And it's a bunch of bicycles on the front lawn. That was like me, you know what I mean? And here my little 11-year-old nephew launched his own gaming channel. He's live streaming, he's editing the videos himself. He's built fucking games on the little Fortnite game creator. You know what I mean? He's talking about how to monetize and make money. I'm like, are you effing serious? Like, what is going on? And I think, and you see it with TikTok too, aspects of that technology and that dopamine rush, right? I think all you start looking at all these like pieces, right, and all these connections of things out in the world and in technology, universe, social behaviors, and you start to see patterns in things, and it's kind of like all connected, and it's kind of fascinating to me to watch. Um, even this thing, even this kind of, when you have conversations, being American, right? I'm looking at my country a lot of like, what the hell happened, right? We used to be one of the greatest countries in the earth, and two, no, and I'm not trying to say this with ego. One of the top countries, let's say that, right? We used to be one of the greatest countries that stood for a lot of things, and to a certain extent, it's still there. But man, our country has really gone down. The social aspects, right, of society, the polarization of not just politics, but people in general, from sensitivity, and everyone's angry. Um, America used to be about family, right? We look back in the 50s and 60s. Granted, just like many other countries, we had a lot of problems, racism, you name it. I'm not talking about that now, but the good stuff I'm talking about, that shit is fucking gone, man. Most of that, or it's just decreased exponentially. And I grew up in LA, and I found again, when I'm talking about this subject, I just mentioned to friends, family, and I remember single-handedly experiencing the change in culture and this change in people from social media when it first broke, specifically Twitter, because that was one of the hottest ones. And celebrities obviously still do, and early on had a huge influence, right, of social media once they realized they could use that, right, and hence why you see one of the biggest fucking empires built $1 billion from the Kardashians was based off a sex tape, right, with a B rapper R&B star, right, Ray J. And again, not talking smack at all. They crushed it. I haven't heard always the best things about them, but you never know what's true. I'm sure they have some good aspects of them. But you can't be stupid and build the empire of what they did, right? So, sex tape, you get hot for 6 months, you die, yeah. But what they built, okay, you got to respect that. But I'll say this: I used to go to clubs. I was probably pretty, early 20s or something like that. And when Twitter hit, you had what's her name, Kim Kardashian, who is the nobody hanger on kind of groupie in those days. What's his name? Oh, the girl, one of my favorite singers. Anyways, from the Commodores, Lionel Richie, Nicole Richie, and then Paris Hilton. Those three, right? They were the hottest fucking thing on Twitter. That's when you first kind of had these like non-real celebrities, right? Being celebrities, right? And clubs were always hard to get into in LA just because the aspects of celebrities. But I swear to God, that shit with them becoming like famous for being whatever, all of a sudden every fucking club had a red carpet event. All of a sudden, dental assistants thought they were fucking celebrities. I'm not joking. Having attitudes, ego, you know what I mean? Like the social aspects, identity, and all this shit I saw just change in that moment. And then it went all downhill from there. And then we got 250 mass shootings a year in our country. Let's just blame it on Kim Kardashian's sex tape and Twitter. I think that's the root cause of all the evil in our country. Is right there. There you go. I said it. Yeah, I
Woo!
just find all this stuff fascinating.
I love it. Like we can talk about meme coins and then talk about culture, and then now we're going into like values and nostalgia. You know what? It's going to get worse because wherever I go, like every time I go for a meal, right? You know what the kids are doing? The kids are no longer playing. Wait, no, they're playing in a different way. They're no longer running around creating a ruckus. They are all sitting down with their faces sucked into a device. And I've seen it with like really young kids, like 3 years old. Imagine like you're a kid, like from 3 years old, your parents put a device in front of you, and then you're just on a device all the way until you're 18 years old. And that's like 15 years of device exposure. I don't know, man. Like, I think we're going to have a new generation of kids that are going to be very different from you and I, very different from any kid that is still alive right now. And it's a huge experiment. So I don't know. I think attention spans might get shorter. I think that we might the goldfish will beat us this time, and then we'll need to do a lot of more crazy stuff in order to get their attention. So I don't know if how they'll cope with school because school is a pretty dull and slow place. So maybe we'll have alternative schools like I know Open University is building a pretty unique AI school on crypto rails. So that'll be something unique to see. Maybe crypto will solve all these problems eventually. We never know.
100%. And this is the forum we try to make meme market spaces. That's why we said free flow. It was like, I think getting into some deeper things once in a while, or, we had our guest Trump joining in too, and all these random things are kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, this subject could go on forever and ever. I go down wormholes fucking daily still, which is why I love the internet because there's so much knowledge at your fingertips right now. Like you could do anything because of that. But yeah, look, we're coming to the end. I would love to keep chatting, but I know we have to get back to work. And, I'm not sure how many of our guests want to listen to us start getting into social behavior, philosophy, quantum physics, and overweight meme coins. But yeah, we want to thank all our guests
Flex
for
tapes, they
joining
enjoyed
us.
that one. I bet.
I bet. I think it's always cool. We try to change it up. I think, we started this program and it's very, we're trying to be as structured as possible because that's what you're supposed to do with, marketing and events. But I think we're gonna start dropping in some more random ones, kind of like this on topics. You know what I mean? Because what I did like about the industry early on, and you still have it, is you get a lot of rebels in crypto. You know what I mean? You get people that are not have not been happy with the system or see flaws in it, and they want to rebel. You know what I mean? Like I got an article I used to do, whatever, guest post and whatever on some sites and stuff, and like Bitcoin was a digital rebellion. That's what I called it. You know what I mean? Literally. And that's the kind of thing I like from the early days of crypto, was you got a lot of kind of weird fucking people in this in here in these in the scene, right? Kind of like outcasts, different and really deep people. Sometimes not, sometimes not in the best way. Or when they used to sell the fucking utopia during the ICO days, that was just disgusting to me. I just, okay, I gotta hate like that whole fucking Burning Man utopia mixed with ICO pumping your bags fucking phase. I wanted to just, yeah, that was just too much to me. Yeah, so no, none of those fucking hats are allowed in our spaces. You know those hats I'm talking about. You guys all know. Don't ever wear a hat and join our space and talk about Burning Man. Anyways, I'll be quiet now. I want to thank all our guests, Alley Cat from Mew, Jared from Memes Lab, our team, Gerard, um, Luke, the quiet genius behind the hosting of the highly advanced Twitter space, or sorry, X space. And yeah, if you guys want to say anything else after, but we're gonna wrap it up and look forward to next time.
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's always awesome being on with you guys. You guys do an absolute killer job.
Thanks, thanks.
Yeah, I also want to thank you guys for hosting us. I really had a good time, and I think like we were about to go philosophical, and that was what I tend to enjoy talking about. So I think we would we would we would have a good time hanging out with each other, and I really did enjoy myself, and I hope to come back in the future.
Awesome. We'll invite you on when we do one of these next the random one. When we do our first rando, we'll definitely send you an invite. You should join then. We'll have some fun.
Yeah,
Cool.
prepare yourself. Next one will name network state, metallic Buterin, and network state. So make sure you have something to say. All right.
Ooh, going dark. Oh,
Thank you guys. Thank
Yeah,
you so
yeah.
much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you here. And yeah, stay tuned.